Hey, Sorinda, come here. Look what my computer does now if I do a live. I can't even. I have to do that every time. End it. Doesn't want me to do a live on my computer. I don't know why.
Impossible. To enact sweet vengeance on your soon-to-be ex-wife, the tyrannical CEO, you started carb loading on raw oysters a whole week in advance. And we are talking about the 8 hearty meals a day. Therefore, at this very moment, your stamina was absolutely off the charts. Let's go for another round, you absolute scoundrel. That was already round 4. Do you not have an off switch? On the ridiculously luxurious grand bed, Seraphina willing to divorce you. To make the process smoother, she was even willing to fork over an extra 10 million. And you had agreed, but somehow, after you bumped your head, the whole plot went completely off the rails. Not only did she get bamboozled into bed with you, but this scoundrel also snatched away her very first kiss and her very first grand slam. I didn't want this either, Seraphina, but I've been head over heels for you for 7 years. The thought that we are divorcing tomorrow, and that from now on you'll be throwing yourself into Peregrine's embrace. It makes my heart ache so much I can't even breathe, you said, looking like a kicked puppy. Peregrine was Seraphina's unattainable white moonlight crush from her college days. After graduation, he flew off overseas with his girlfriend. Recently, he suddenly contacted Seraphina. He claimed he was tired, and that the weary bird wishes to return to the nest. Consequently, Seraphina, acting like a total simp, couldn't wait to file for divorce. Hearing your words, Seraphina suddenly fell silent. She knew you had harbored a crush on her for 7 years. Most importantly, during your 3 years of marriage, you had taken impeccable care of her in every possible aspect. She knew you were an excellent marriage partner. If Peregrine wasn't coming back, she actually wouldn't have wanted a divorce at all. Last time, Seraphina finally threw in the towel. You didn't speak. You didn't even have the time to speak. The millisecond Seraphina's voice faded, you scooped her soft, fragrant body back into your embrace. Be gentle, Seraphina murmured coyly. Her voice was so enchanting it ought to be illegal. 3 minutes later, Seraphina passed out from sheer exhaustion. You weren't sleepy at all. You trotted out to the balcony and lit up a victory cigarette. Amidst the swirling smoke, you still couldn't wrap your head around how you had magically transmigrated here. Yep, you were actually a time and space traveler. Originally, you were a street-smart mob boss back on Earth. Because you were entirely too successful at being a gangster, you ended up eating a lead salad, got shot. Result? When you opened your eyes again, you had arrived in this baffling world. Your soul had hijacked the body of this dude who coincidentally shared your name, Caspian. Truth be told, when you first transmigrated and figured out the situation, you were secretly doing backflips of joy. Because Seraphina was drop-dead gorgeous. Her figure was so spicy it made people drool, especially those 2 snow-white slender legs of hers, absolute lethal weapons. Alas, this joy didn't last long. Seraphina slapped a divorce demand on the table. Especially after you found out the melodramatic reason behind it, your mood instantly soured. Hence, the vigorous midnight cardio sessions that just occurred. After all, you were never the type of boss who liked taking a loss. A night passed without words. The next day, the moment Seraphina fluttered her eyes open, she saw your familiar face. Morning, you smiled at her. Seraphina shot you a furious, blushing glare. Right now, let alone talking to you, she didn't even want to look at you. Seeing your scoundrel face just reminded her of the fact that you took her to Pound Town 5 times last night. You chuckled. Seraphina, why do you look so mesmerizing even when you're angry? What should I do? I'm suddenly feeling a bit reluctant to divorce you. Seraphina instantly flared up. To get this divorce, she gave this scoundrel 20 million, not to mention letting him score a home run 5 times. And now he had the audacity to say he didn't want a divorce. What kind of international joke was this? You scoundrel, let me tell you. We must divorce today. Peregrine is coming back today. Serafina absolutely did not want to leave her baggage undealt with before he returned. After all, she had promised him. She wanted to welcome him with a brand new, unattached status. You weren't surprised by Serafina's attitude. Only these pampered, filthy rich heiresses who never worried about food or clothing would chase after this so-called love, which to you was worth less than a fart. You smiled. What if, after we divorce, you realize the person you actually love is me? Let's get one thing straight. Once we divorce, it is utterly impossible for me to ever want you again. Even if you beg me on your hands and knees. The answer is no, Serafina sneered coldly. Me? Like you? You can't even compare to a single strand of Peregrine's hair. And you think I'd beg you on my knees? Are you even worthy? Very well. You were successfully provoked. And then you directly yanked Serafina back into your embrace. Serafina panicked. Scoundrel! What are you trying to do? Scoundrel! Let me go! Scoundrel! Be gentle. Approaching noon, the two of you walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Serafina's walking posture was exceedingly bizarre. To be brutally honest, if Peregrine wasn't returning tonight, Serafina truly wouldn't have wanted to come for the divorce today. She had no choice. She was dragged into 2 more wrestling matches by this scoundrel this morning. Her body felt like it had been run over by a freight train. Now, looking at the divorce certificate in her hand, Serafina's mood was incredibly complex. She thought she would be thrilled. After all, getting a divorce was exactly what she wanted. Yet, she didn't seem quite as ecstatic as she had anticipated. However, seeing your breezy, spring breeze smug face, Serafina instantly got annoyed. Caspian, we are officially divorced now. Before 3 o'clock this afternoon, pack up all your junk and move out of my place. You nodded. To you, Serafina was like sand you couldn't hold on to. Might as well toss it into the wind early on. After all, you had zero emotional attachment to her. Also, you are forbidden from pestering me ever again, and you are forbidden from telling anyone that we were ever married. Very few people knew about your marriage. Even Serafina's parents were completely in the dark about it. You nodded again. Your expression was completely ripple-free. Seeing you being so obedient, Serafina grew even more irritated. She originally thought you would at the very least say a few words to beg her to stay. Do you have nothing to say to me? I do. You nodded once more. A trace of smugness flashed across Serafina's heart. She huffed coldly, then spit it out. Can we squeeze in one more round? You asked with the utmost sincerity. You were genuinely craving her anatomy right now. It was simply too flawless. Get lost! Serafina roared furiously. You chuckled. You brazenly pinched Serafina's tender, snow-white cheek. Take care of yourself. Call me if you get lonely, but let's put the ugly words up front. I don't like women who have been touched by other guys. Even holding hands is a deal-breaker. Dropping that bombshell of a sentence, you swaggered away. Serafina, however, stood frozen on the spot, unable to snap out of it for a long time. She felt that you were truly somewhat different from before. Take the fact that you just pinched her cheek, for example. The old you would absolutely never dare to do such a thing. But not only did you just do it, you did it with such unbridled audacity. Serafina even felt like you were shamelessly flirting.
Make your browser fast. Make your browser safe.
With her. She thought she would be furious, but she wasn't. Instead, she inexplicably felt that you possessed a peculiar, alternative kind of charm. As your car drove out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, not too far down the road, a blindingly flashy sports car blocked your path. It was arrogant beyond belief. Subsequently, you saw a girl with a smoking hot figure. A stunning young lady hopped out of the car, and then she strutted right up to your window. Holy smoke, she is looking absolutely top tier. She looked exactly like a certain self-proclaimed boss lady celebrity back on Earth. The original body's memories informed you. The bewitching beauty standing before you was named Carmine. She was the eldest young miss of the prominent Shen family in Ocean City. She and Serafina were mortal enemies. Just how mortal? Basically, whatever the Su family did, the Shen family would copy to spite them. Serafina currently managed an entertainment company. Carmine also managed an entertainment company. You rolled down the window. You looked at her with a grinning, squinty-eyed smile. You divorced Serafina? Carmine asked, smiling as brilliantly as a blossoming flower. Yep, divorced. She initiated it? Of course I initiated it. Could you bear to let her go? Carmine asked with a seductive smile. You sighed. Originally I couldn't bear to, but when I thought about how you're way prettier than she is, I suddenly found the strength. Carmine giggled musically. Caspian. I always thought you were just a boring, silent gourd. I never expected you to have such a humorist side. You nodded in profound agreement. You know how it is. Aside from being devastatingly handsome, all I have left is my humor, charm, and swagger. Carmine was amused into loud laughter once again. She laughed so hard she had to grip your car window just to stand steady. You smiled and said, the sun is pretty toxic out here. Why don't we chat inside the car? Carmine shot you a coquettish glance. Then she turned and gracefully slid into the passenger seat. Spit it out. What do you need me for? You asked straight to the point. Though the words were directed at Carmine, your eyes weren't looking at her face. Instead, they were brazenly locked onto those two magnificent legs encased in black pantyhose. Carmine caught your bold and reckless gaze. She asked with a foxy smile, "Are my legs pretty?" "So pretty they look like high-end prosthetics. I simply refuse to believe such perfect legs exist in this world. May I touch them to verify?" You spoke with a face full of righteous sincerity. Ha ha ha. Carmine laughed so hard her branches trembled, figuratively speaking. This guy was truly shameless to the core. Subsequently, she smiled seductively and said, "Sure, go ahead and touch." She wanted to see if this guy truly had the guts of a rabid dog. Hearing this, without a second word, you reached your hand out to go to town. "Wait, no. This guy actually dared." Carmine hurriedly swatted your hand away, laughing and scolding. "Hooligan, let me ask you, are you truly willing to part ways with Serafina? Even if I weren't, what choice do I have? It's not like she likes me anyway," you said, feigning heartbreak. Carmine stopped laughing. She stared dead on at that face of yours, which was almost illegally handsome. Inexplicably, a tiny sprout of heartache grew in her chest, because your dejected appearance made you look like a beautifully shattered piece of art. You don't need to be sad. In my eyes, the one suffering the biggest loss from this divorce is Serafina. After all, what she lost is someone who deeply loved her, while you only lost someone who didn't love you. You're totally right. But I still feel so terrible. Could I trouble you for a loving hug? Do you have a death wish? Trying to take advantage of me? Carmine laughed and threw a playful punch at your chest. You chuckled as well. Out with it. What exactly did you seek me out for? Do you want to get revenge on Serafina? How do I get revenge? By getting together with me. You internally rejoiced. Is this the legendary VIP perk of being a time traveler? Just kicked Serafina to the curb? And here comes Carmine delivering herself to the door. What? Do you have a crush on me? Carmine burst into loud laughter. You sure dare to dream. I'm heartbroken now. Don't be heartbroken. Who knows, maybe I'll fall for you in the future. Excuse me, is fall used as a verb indicating emotional descent or a verb indicating physical mounting? Carmine understood in a millisecond. She laughed and scolded, "Caspian, you truly are a hooligan. Oh my, I accidentally let you peek at my true colors." Carmine was amused into laughter once again. Say what you will, this Caspian guy was pretty interesting. She hadn't interacted with you much in the past. She always assumed you were a stuffy, rigid traditionalist. Who knew you'd be this entertaining? You smiled. Spit it out. What do you mean by getting together with you? She doesn't even like me anyway. It hardly counts as revenge. She might not like you, but her possessiveness is off the charts. Besides, you getting with anyone else might not trigger her, but getting with me? Absolutely guaranteed to work. After all, we are sworn mortal enemies. Think about it. You two just got divorced, and immediately you're booed up with me. If she finds out, she'll probably cough up blood from pure rage. Makes sense, however. What's in it for you? Oh, there's plenty. Just watching her cough up blood will make me ecstatic, so how about it? Are you in or out? Carmine said, her pretty face plastered with a smug look. I'm out. What? Can't bear to piss her off to death? No. What I mean is, I need you to add more money to the pot. Carmine let out a wildly uninhibited laugh. Deal. After the deed is done, I'll transfer 10 million to your account. Sold! You were ecstatic. Shall we go flex our newfound love right in front of her face right now? No rush for that just yet. Come help me move your stuff first. The two of you returned to Serafina's villa together. However, Carmine didn't step inside. In her own words, she absolutely refused to step foot into Serafina's territory. Having been married to Serafina for 3 years, your belongings were pitifully few. Aside from a few changes of clothes, all you had left were some toiletries. Packing was done in a flash. Without an ounce of nostalgia, you carried your stuff out of the villa. Just this tiny bit of stuff? Carmine asked. Yep, you nodded helplessly. Serafina sure was stingy with you. Tell me about it. We even got divorced, and she didn't even bother tossing a measly 8 or 10 billion my way as a parting gift. You chimed in. Carmine laughed coquettishly. You sure have a big mouth. What? Are you saying this face of mine isn't worth that much money? Carmine giggled adorably. Oh, it's worth way more than 8 or 10 billion. I just love how honest you are, you said with a grinning, squinty-eyed smile. Carmine smiled and asked, where are you planning to go? Back to the Chen family. I'll go back eventually, but not right now. Yesterday, upon transmigrating here and reading the original host's memories, you realized one thing. He lived an exceptionally pathetic, spineless life. He was originally the true young master of the Chen family. At age 4, while taken out to play by a servant, he was abducted by human traffickers. He barely survived in the countryside for 16 years before being found and brought back. For the first 2 years after returning, the original host had a few good days, but good times don't last. The fake young master they had adopted started stirring up drama. If he wasn't falsely accusing the original host of hitting him, he was framing the original host for bullying him.
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players across the globe in massive battles on tanks, aircraft, and helicopters in the most extensive vehicle combat game ever made. Take control over the battlefield in ground vehicles. Rain down rocket volleys in helicopters. Dog thought you...
To stay in that household,